Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. We tell the remarkable story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 1993, a coin that proves history often hides in plain sight. To understand why this penny matters, we must step back into the long and dignified reign of Queen Elizabeth II. By 1993, she had already been on the throne for more than 4 decades. Her portrait had evolved over time, reflecting not only her age but also the changing identity of the nation she ruled. Coins bearing her image were more than currency. They were symbols of stability, continuity, and national pride. The 1993 1 penny belongs to this great tradition, minted during a year when Britain was balancing tradition with modernity. At first glance, the 1993 penny appears familiar. The obverse features the refined portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf, showing the Queen wearing the royal diadem. Her expression is calm and composed, conveying authority without arrogance. Surrounding her portrait is the Latin inscription that has appeared on British coins for generations, declaring her as Queen by the grace of God. This side of the coin alone connects the penny to centuries of monarchs whose faces once appeared on gold sovereigns and silver shillings. Turn the coin over, and the reverse tells another story. The iconic crown portcullis, a symbol deeply rooted in British history, dominates the design. Chains hang from either side, representing security and strength, while the date, 1993, sits proudly below. This design links the penny to the Palace of Westminster and the enduring power of Parliament. It is a reminder that even the smallest denomination carries the weight of national identity. But what truly sets the 1993 Elizabeth II 1 penny apart is not just its design, but the circumstances of its creation. By the early 1990s, the Royal Mint was adjusting to new economic realities. Production methods were evolving, metals were changing, and quality control faced unprecedented pressure due to large-scale minting demands. While millions of pennies were struck, only a tiny number emerged with extraordinary characteristics that would later ignite the fascination of collectors worldwide. Some 1993 pennies were produced with subtle variations that escaped immediate detection. Minute differences in metal composition, unusual strike qualities, and exceptionally rare minting anomalies turned a common coin into a potential numismatic treasure. At the time, these differences meant nothing to shopkeepers or commuters. But decades later, collectors began to notice that not all 1993 pennies were truly alike. Collectors are drawn to stories, and this penny has one of the most compelling. Imagine a single coin surviving untouched while countless others were worn smooth by time. Imagine a penny preserved in near-perfect condition, its surfaces glowing with original luster, its details sharp as the day it left the Royal Mint. Such preservation is incredibly rare for a low-value circulation coin, especially one that spent years in everyday use. As interest grew, experts began examining surviving 1993 pennies more closely. A handful displayed astonishing qualities: flawless edges, unusually deep strikes, and metal characteristics inconsistent with standard circulation issues. Some experts believe these coins may have originated from special test runs or experimental batches never intended for public circulation. Others suggest they were early strikes made before dies wore down, giving them superior detail and finish. Rarity, however, is only part of the equation. Condition is king in the world of coin collecting. A circulated penny might be worth a few cents, but a pristine example graded at the highest level becomes something else entirely. When one extraordinary 1993 penny surfaced in elite collecting circles, its condition stunned the numismatic community. Graded at an almost unimaginable level of perfection, it became the benchmark against which all other modern British pennies would be judged. Word spread quickly. Auction houses whispered about it. Collectors speculated. Historians debated its origin. The penny was no longer just copper and zinc, it had become a legend. In a market driven by scarcity, prestige, and narrative, this coin had it all. It represented the end of an era before Britain would eventually move away from traditional copper pennies. It carried the mature portrait of one of the longest reigning monarchs in history. And it existed in a condition so rare that it challenged everything collectors thought possible for a modern coin. The psychology of collecting cannot be ignored. High-end collectors are not simply buying metal, they are buying ownership of a story. To own the finest known example of a coin is to hold a piece of history that no one else can replicate. For elite collectors, price becomes secondary to prestige. When two determined buyers compete for the same object, values can rise beyond imagination. This is exactly what happened with the 1993 Elizabeth II 1 penny. As global interest in rare modern coins exploded, fueled by online platforms and international auctions, attention turned toward overlooked circulation issues. Collectors realized that rarity was not limited to ancient gold or medieval silver. Modern coins, under the right circumstances, could be just as valuable. Behind closed doors, private sales began to set new records. Each transaction pushed the perceived value higher. Stories emerged of collectors refusing enormous offers, convinced the coin's significance had not yet reached its peak. Numismatic analysts began to speak openly about the penny as a once-in-a-generation piece. And then came the moment that cemented its place in history. When valuation experts assessed the coin based on rarity, condition, historical context, and market demand, the conclusion shocked even seasoned professionals. This was no longer a curiosity. It was a masterpiece of modern numismatics. Today, according to elite private valuations and collector market estimates, the most extraordinary example of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 1993 has reached a staggering estimated value of $30 million. Top 2. We uncover the fascinating story of a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but carries a mystery that has captivated collectors worldwide. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 2011.to understand why this coin matters. We must step back into the long and remarkable reign of Queen Elizabeth II. By 2011, she had already become a symbol of stability, tradition, and continuity for Britain and the Commonwealth. Coins bearing her portrait had passed through countless hands, witnessed decades of social change, and quietly recorded history one transaction at a time. The 2011 1 penny was minted during a time when the world was changing rapidly. Yet the Royal Mint continued its centuries-old duty of preserving heritage through coinage. The 1 penny itself may seem modest, but its story is anything but. By 2011, British pennies were no longer made of solid copper, as they once were. Instead, they were produced using copper-plated steel, a change introduced years earlier to reduce costs. This shift in metal composition alone makes modern pennies a fascinating study for collectors, especially when variations, minting anomalies, and rare conditions enter the picture. Every penny from this era carries subtle clues, tiny details that can separate a common coin from an extraordinary one. The design of the 2011 Elizabeth II 1 penny reflects both tradition and modernity. On one side, the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II appears calm, dignified, and timeless. This effigy, created by Ian Rank Broadley, was widely praised for its realistic and respectful portrayal of the monarch. The fine details in her crown, the depth of her expression, and the precision of the engraving demonstrate the Royal Mint's commitment to craftsmanship, even on the smallest denomination. Turn the coin over, and you'll find something equally meaningful. The reverse design is part of the Royal Shield, introduced to reflect unity and national identity. In 2011, the penny featured a segment of the shield rather than a standalone symbol, making it part of a larger design story shared across multiple denominations. This innovative approach transformed everyday coins into pieces of a larger puzzle, encouraging collectors to see value not only in individual coins but in complete sets. At the time of its release, millions of these pennies entered circulation. People used them to pay for newspapers, drop into charity boxes, or lose between sofa cushions. No one imagined that among these countless coins, a small number would later ignite intense interest in the numismatic world. Yet history has shown again and again that rarity is not always planned. Sometimes, it is born from mistakes, limited runs, or subtle variations that go unnoticed for years. collectors began paying closer attention to the 2011 one penny as reports emerged of unusual minting characteristics. Some coins displayed alignment irregularities, unexpected magnetic behavior, or differences in weight and finish. Others were discovered in exceptionally pristine condition, untouched by circulation, preserved as if frozen in time. These details may seem minor, but in the world of coin collecting, they can make an enormous difference. What truly drives collector appeal is the story behind the coin. The 2011 penny represents one of the later chapters of Elizabeth II's portrait on British coinage before future changes would arrive. It stands at the crossroads between traditional physical currency and the growing dominance of digital payments. As fewer people use cash today, coins like this become silent witnesses to a fading everyday habit, increasing their emotional and historical value. Across auction houses, collector forums, and private sales, interest in modern British pennies has surged. Enthusiasts are no longer focused solely on ancient or medieval coins. Instead, they are searching pocket change with new eyes, hoping to discover overlooked treasures. Ultra-rare coins history has documented this growing trend, where ordinary coins transform into extraordinary assets simply because people finally recognize their significance. Condition plays a vital role in value. A 2011 Elizabeth II one penny that has never circulated, with sharp edges, flawless surfaces, and original mint luster, can be worlds apart from a scratched and worn example. Even more valuable are coins with verified minting anomalies or extremely limited variants. These are the coins that spark bidding wars, draw headlines, and rewrite assumptions about modern coinage. There is also a psychological element at play. The idea that a simple one-penny coin, once considered almost worthless, could be worth a fortune challenges our understanding of value itself. It reminds us that worth is not defined by face value, but by rarity, demand, history, and human fascination. This is why collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums for coins that tell a compelling story. As years pass, coins from 2011 become harder to find in perfect condition. Many have been lost, damaged, or melted down. Each passing year quietly increases scarcity, and with it, desirability. What was once mass-produced slowly becomes selective, and what was once ignored becomes sought after. Now imagine holding such a coin in your hand. It feels light, almost insignificant. Yet it has traveled through time, survived economic shifts, and carried the image of a queen whose reign defined an era. That emotional connection, combined with documented rarity and collector demand, is what elevates this penny beyond imagination. Collectors who specialize in modern British coinage often speak of the 2011 one penny with excitement and caution. Excitement because of its potential, and caution because the market rewards authenticity and expert verification. Certified examples with confirmed rare characteristics have reached astonishing figures, proving that modern coins can stand shoulder to shoulder with ancient treasures. And now, we arrive at the moment that surprises almost everyone. After years of analysis, private sales, collector competition, and rising demand, the most exceptional examples of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny 2011, those with rare minting features, pristine condition, and verified authenticity, have been valued at an incredible $10 millions. Yes, a one-penny coin, once used for everyday purchases, has reached a valuation that rivals luxury properties and rare artworks. This is not just about money, it is about perspective. It is about seeing history where others see spare change. It is about understanding that even the smallest objects can carry unimaginable value. Top 3. We are diving into one such story, the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II one penny from the year 2010. The year 2010 was a time of quiet transition for Britain. The world was recovering from a global financial crisis, technology was rapidly reshaping daily life, and yet the Royal Mint continued a tradition that had lasted for centuries, striking coins that would pass through millions of hands. Among them was the humble one-penny coin, a denomination so familiar that few people ever stopped to look at it closely. And that is exactly what makes the 2010 Elizabeth II one penny so intriguing. By 2010, Queen Elizabeth II had already reigned for nearly 6 decades. Her portrait had evolved over the years, reflecting not only her age but also the changing artistic styles of British coinage. The effigy used on the 2010 penny was the fourth definitive portrait of the Queen, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait shows Elizabeth II with a dignified, realistic appearance, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. There is no crown exaggeration, no youthful softness. Instead, there is authority, experience, and quiet strength. For collectors, this portrait represents the mature phase of Britain's longest reigning monarch, a period rich in historical significance. Turn the coin over, and the reverse design tells an equally compelling story. The 2010 penny features a segment of the Royal Shield, part of a larger design introduced in 2008 by Matthew Dent. Each denomination from 1 penny to 50 pence shows a different piece of the shield, and when arranged together, they form the complete royal arms. The 1 penny displays the lower left quadrant, featuring the Lions of England. This modern redesign was bold at the time, breaking away from traditional standalone symbols and instead creating a unified visual identity across the coin. At first glance, millions of these pennies look identical. Copper-plated steel, 20.3 mm in diameter, weighing 3.56 grams. Perfectly ordinary specifications. And yet, within this sea of sameness, subtle variations emerged during production. These variations are where the story begins to shift from ordinary to extraordinary. The Royal Mint produces coins in enormous quantities, and even with the most advanced technology, no minting process is entirely free from anomalies. In 2010, certain batches of 1 penny coins exhibited striking irregularities. Some featured misaligned dies, others showed unusual plating thickness, and a very small number displayed rare strike characteristics that set them apart from standard circulation issues. To the untrained eye, these differences are invisible. But to a seasoned collector, they are everything. What makes collectors obsess over coins like the 2010 Elizabeth II 1 penny isn't just rarity, it's context. This coin exists at a crossroads in British numismatic history. It comes from an era when copper pennies had already transitioned to steel cores, a change driven by rising metal costs. It also belongs to the first decade of the new millennium, a period collectors increasingly view as historically complete rather than modern. As time passes, coins from this era are no longer just spare change, they are artifacts. Condition plays a critical role in the desirability of any coin, and the 2010 penny is no exception. While circulated examples are abundant and typically worth face value, uncirculated specimens tell a different story. Coins preserved straight from mint rolls, untouched by human hands, maintain sharp details, original luster, and flawless surfaces. When such a coin also carries a rare minting anomaly, its value increases exponentially. Collectors often speak about the thrill of discovery. Many rare coins are not found in auctions or museums but in ordinary places: old jars, forgotten drawers, inherited collections. The 2010 Elizabeth II 1 penny has become a symbol of that hope. The idea that something so recent, something so familiar, could still be hiding an incredible secret fuels the passion of collectors worldwide. Over the years, whispers about exceptionally rare 2010 pennies have circulated through numismatic communities. Stories of coins struck on incorrect planchets, experimental test strikes, and undocumented mint errors have captured attention. While most of these remain unverified or locked away in private collections, their existence adds to the mystique. Each rumor increases demand. Each confirmed discovery sends ripples through the market. Another factor driving interest is the emotional connection people have with Queen Elizabeth II. Her image on coins represents stability, continuity, and a living link to history. Coins minted during her reign are not just currency, they are symbols of an era. The 2010 penny, minted just over a decade before the end of her reign, carries a sense of reflection. It represents the later chapters of a historic monarchy, frozen in metal. As ultra-rare coins history has explored time and again, value in the coin world is not determined solely by metal content or age. It is driven by story, scarcity, condition, and desire. The more people want something, the more powerful its market becomes. And in recent years, the demand for ultra-modern rarities has exploded. Collectors are no longer focused only on ancient or medieval coins. They are hunting for modern legends. Auction houses have noticed this shift. Coins once dismissed as too new are now being examined with forensic precision. When a rare 2010 Elizabeth II 1 penny with exceptional characteristics appears, competition becomes fierce. Private collectors, investors, and institutions all want a piece of the story. Prices climb rapidly, often far beyond initial expectations. What truly sets the most valuable examples apart is documentation. Provenance, expert grading, and verified mint errors transform a coin from interesting to legendary. A penny authenticated by top grading services, classified as a unique or near-unique specimen, becomes something entirely different from loose change. It becomes an asset, and this brings us to the moment that captures everyone's attention. The moment when curiosity turns into disbelief. The moment when an ordinary coin reveals its extraordinary worth. In elite collector circles, a specific ultra-rare variant of the 2010 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny, preserved in pristine condition, verified as a unique minting anomaly, and backed by expert authentication, has reached a staggering estimated value of $11 million.